On today's video, what we're going to be discussing is the introduction to ecology. So by the time this is over, we should have a good understanding of what ecology is and a few of the factors that can go ahead and influence it. So let's go ahead and get started, shall we? The first thing we need to go ahead and ask ourselves is, what is ecology? So simply put, ecology is the study of interactions between organisms and other organisms, as well as organisms and their environment. Because if you think about it, we are constantly on a daily basis interacting with one another, as well as our environment. So the question is, where do we fit in? What's our environment? So if you think about this, the environment for different things are going to change depending on what they are. So the environment as a whole, if we go ahead and include everything on the Earth, we call that the biosphere. So the biosphere is comprised of four primary layers. We have the atmosphere, the ecosphere, the hydrosphere, and the lithosphere. All of these combined make up what we call the biosphere, or the planet Earth. We're going to go ahead and talk about these individually on the next slide. So the spheres. We have the atmosphere. The atmosphere is the layer of gases that surround the planet. So think about things like oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, all these different gases that go ahead and surround our planet, most of which we use on a daily basis, whether you realize it or not. The hydrosphere. The hydrosphere includes all bodies of water on the planet. So this includes large bodies like the oceans, as well as small bodies like lakes, ponds, rivers, streams, and creeks. The lithosphere contains all rocks on the planet. We also need to go ahead and consider the layers of the Earth. So for example, the upper layer of the Earth's surface and all the various rock strata that are found in it, as well as its mantle, the mantle which is outside of the core. And finally, we have the biosphere. The biosphere contains any part of the planet that has life. So there are a variety of factors that affect us on a daily basis. The first type we're going to talk about are abiotic factors. Abiotic are non-living factors. So these would be things like moisture, the soil, wind and air currents, light, as well as temperature. So these are non-living factors that can go ahead and influence our day-to-day activities. The second type are biotic factors. So biotic, if you look at the word biotic, you can see the word bio, and bio, simply put, means life. So biotic factors are living factors. So just some examples here. We have people, we have dogs, cats, animals of any variety, as well as, this is an often overlooked part, plants. Yes, plants are indeed living factors. For example, when we go ahead and look at a plant, that plant is currently going ahead and giving off oxygen while taking in carbon dioxide. So think of what we do with breathing, but, the opposite. The last thing we're going to discuss today are the levels of organization. The first, we're going to go from smallest to largest here. So the first level of organization is the individual. So an individual, we're talking about just one organism. So let's go ahead and look at a forest here to start off. So if we're going to go ahead and go with a forest, one individual would be, let's say, an elk. Imagine a deer, but bigger. Yeah. Much larger antlers, much sturdier frame. Elks are beasts, man. Anyway, next up, we have a population. A population is many of the same organism living in the same area. So this would be all of the elks living in a certain area. When we go ahead and expand to the next layer here, we have a community. A community includes all organisms living in the same area. So this would now expand to all the elk in an area, all the deer, all the birds, all the plant life, any living thing in that area. Up next, we have the ecosystem. An ecosystem contains all living, biotic, and non-living, abiotic things in the area. So now not only are we talking about all the living things, but we're also going to be including things like the temperature, the precipitation, the rainfall, the humidity, things of that nature. As we continue, our next one up would be our biome. We're going to be talking about biomes later in this unit, but a biome, simply put, is a group of ecosystems with similar climate and organisms. So different biomes include things like temperate forests, the savanna, the taiga, the tundra, and your various marine biomes. And finally, we have our largest version, which is the biosphere. The biosphere is anywhere on the planet where you can find life. So, pretty much the planet itself. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to go ahead and sum up this video. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate the fact that you joined us today. If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, be sure to go ahead and talk to your teacher. They'll go ahead and put you on the right path. So, until the next video,